ago. There was no one closer than Rudy and Clive. They had known each other so well since the age of 5. Two boys brought together by mere chance. Clive was abandoned as a child by his mum and dad, so Rudy's mother took Clive in with welcoming hands and gave him the love and care that he never had. But Rudy and his mother were extremely poor. She was unemployed and the father died at war, so a rundown shack was all they could afford, living off the welfare checks that paid the pockets of the landlord. A mother raising two boys she couldn't support. Her love was so pure but her core was flawed, masking a painful past with a sniff and a snort, abusing cocaine as a final resort. And one day the boys, having walked through the front door, were distraught by the terrifying scene they saw. Their mother lay unconscious, convulsing on the floor, with lines of white powder on the kitchen drawer. They called an ambulance but couldn't do much more than to contemplate why she had done it for. Rudy and Clive were told to wait by a nurse, and with every hour that passed they dreaded the worst. The waiting room stirring the darkest of fears, with the boys almost drowning in a sea of tears. At last a doctor came to inform the boys. A face bleeding despair spoke a trembling voice. Your mother OD'd and now she's in a coma. Her liver failed, needs a transplant from a donor. At least they knew their mother was alive and breathed, and at that moment the boys had a sigh of relief, cause they'd almost reached a point of giving up belief. But this was only the start of a trail of grief. The doctor went on, that liver transplant that your mum desperately needs costs 13 grand. If you don't get the money by month's end, you may never get to see your poor mother again. But the boys replied, as determined as ever, we're gonna raise the money and she's gonna get better. And they vowed together to find a way, didn't waste a second when looking for jobs the next day. Against all odds, it was an impossible target, cause the only job for Clive was cleaning the supermarket. And Rudy found a job laying bricks and clay, but worked all day long for minimum pay. They had no hope, but there wasn't any other way than to slave and pray for their mother's sake. 3 weeks in and Rudy's falling apart. He can't sleep cause he's overtired, working too hard, scarred by the nightmare that repeats the same part. He sees his mother's death and it breaks his heart, and he feels like a failure, stuck at the start with only 2 grand raised. He's falling short of the bar, but Clive is doing well so far. To Rudy's surprise, he finds 6 grand in their money jar. Clive, you're a star, but why do we have this for? Cause there's no way you got this from cleaning the shop's floors. I hope you didn't get this money breaking the law. Rudy, my brother, why do you question me for? I swear I earned the money working hard at the store. Don't be jealous at the fact that I'm earning more, cause at the end of the day what's mine is yours. Clive, I believe you of course, but I'm just not sure. Most people with the same job as you are poor, but I'm sorry, forget everything I said before. Without your heroic efforts we'd be 6 grand short. Together we make 8, only 5 grand more. So the boys shook hands and were reassured they'd have the money raised in time for the surgeon's ward. With 2 days left before the money was due, Rudy realised that his ultimate wish would come true, for he knew they had the dough to get their mother through. So he took his final paycheck at 1:45, hoping to surprise Clive at work to say thank you. But when he arrived, Clive wasn't in view, so he asked the manager, but he had no clue. No Clive has ever been a part of our staff crew. Rudy stood blank trying to digest the news. He was so confused, eager to find more clues. So he went back home to unlock the front door and caught Clive cleaning a mess on the floor. Hey bro, I just got back from your store. I asked for Clive, but they'd never heard of you before. But Clive didn't reply, instead he ignored, continuing to clean a mess on the kitchen drawer. Looking closer, Rudy was shocked by what he saw, the same powder that had ruined his mother before. A sudden flashback made him stutter and shiver, envisioned his mother dead with a poisoned liver. And in that moment it all clicked. Clive never earned that money so quick as a checkout chick, cause Rudy had been deceived and tricked. Clive was selling the same cocaine that made their mother sick. Clive, how could you be so thick? Rudy, why do you sound so angry at me when you speak? This is how I've been earning all our mother's cash. Up in the top drawer, I prepared another stash. Give us a hand and roll me up a few more bags, so we have enough money for when mum gets back. But Rudy fell to his knees and cried, we may have the dough to keep our own mother alive, but what about all the other mothers' lives you've jeopardized, and their children now in the same boat as you and I knew your success was too good to be true. I can't believe that I ever put my trust in you. I'm sorry sorry Rudy, but I had good intent. All I want is for our family to be happy again. Rudy, my man, you've always been my closest friend. Please forgive me, I promise you this is the end. Clive, it is too late to apologize. The cops are on their way, say your final goodbyes. But Clive smiled back, I know you're upset at me, but we are brothers, you would never do that. But the cops are in blaze from outside. They came and confiscated the cocaine and arrested Clive. I'm sorry Clive, this is something you made me do. Rudy, I will never forgive you.